Muy buenos dias, everybody. Today, if I may exaggerate, I'm going to cook for you. I'm going to use a couple of tortillas. And, oh, let me say something. I'm not talking to the boys now, just the muchachas. Muchachas, I know that my camiseta does not match my camisa. I just haven't changed all of my clothes today. These are tortillas. Of course, most of you know what a tortilla is. Your mama may go to the store and bring them home every once in a while and throw all kinds of goodies in them. In the United States, non-Spanish speaking people are used to putting everything under the sun in here and then folding them over or rolling them up and calling them a taco. But taco and burrito and enchilada are not usually made in Spanish-speaking countries the way they are known here. I want to show you a very simple thing using the tortilla that someone once made for me. I was working in a city called Terre Haute, Indiana, and a woman from Mexico was also living there nearby, and one day she called to me from a window. She spoke to me in Spanish. She says, "Señor Russell, ¿usted tiene hambre?" I said, "Yes, I'm hungry." "Sí tengo hambre, sí tengo." And she reached out the window and handed me this. I'll show you what was in it. This is where I start showing off my great cooking skills. I'm going to take out dos huevos. Un huevo. Otro huevo. And I'll put los dos huevos down here. And oh, it's time to cook. I have un sartén pequeño. I will heat up the sartén. And while it is heating up, let's talk a little bit more about these tortillas. The word tortilla comes from the word torta. If we take a tortilla, we fold it over, and inside we put some meat and maybe a few vegetables. And then when we have this, when it's still doughy, very soft, and you can press it together. And then if you were to put it into the oven, it would be like what some of you might call a meat pie or a pocket sandwich. It would be closed up. Well, a lot of people in Spanish-speaking countries make a kind of a sandwich out of these. Only they don't call them a sandwich, they call them, at least many of them do, they call it a torta. Now, if I were going to make a sandwich out, let me have a word with my perra right now. I say perra because she's a girl. If she were a boy dog, I'd call her a perro. But since I know she's a girl, she's a perra. Molly, quit crunching your food so loud. Just a family matter. Now, if I were going to make a sandwich the way I normally do, out of slices of bread, I would never call that a torta. Uh-oh, the oven's getting hot. I better turn that off for a minute while I finish my explanation. Okay, so if we make it out of sliced bread, we would call that, we would use other words for that like emparedado and sandwich, bocadillo. But when people make them out of these soft tortillas, they are sometimes called tortas. So we have torta, and we put that ending on it like ita, and we have tortilla. What would that be? Well, let me explain another thing about this. Many Spanish-speaking people would call a pie a torta. However, some people call a pie pastel, whereas it's just the opposite for many other Spanish-speaking people. They would say what you put in here is a pastel, but others would say, no, a cake is a torta. And in fact, some of you probably have eaten little cakes called tortas. Look at this beautiful torta. Que bonita. I better put it away before I eat it all. Therefore, if we take the word torta and think of it as either a pie, normally you know, if we have a pie, at least a lot of them, they're covered over with stuff that's like this, you know, made of flour, some kind of a dough. And you see what that has in common now with a so-called sandwich that is covered up like this. They both have something in them that's covered up. So whether it's a pie or a type of sandwich covered up by a tortilla, it can be called a torta. And so we have the word tortilla coming from the word torta. And you can call a cake or a pie a torta or pastel, whichever one you want. I'm not going to fight with you about it, but this is una tortilla. Let's cook up these huevos. Fry them up a little bit. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, que caliente. We have a very simple kitchen in my household. I myself am comfortable with simple things. I come from a large family. You know something? I left this on too hot and too long. And now I've got a problem, and all the muchachas y las señoras are laughing at me. All right, I'm going to crack open this huevo and drop it in here. Put it in the carton. Then open up another huevo. Drop it in here. Pretty good cook. Uh-oh, I've got something on my manos. I'll get a paper toalla to take that off. Anyway, grew up in a family with 8 boys and 3 sisters. So there were 13 of us in all, right? We had a pretty simple life, but it was a good life in many ways. Some things about it were pretty sad, but hey, I'm not going to worry about all that. Scrambled eggs are called huevos revueltos. You'll see that on menus when you go into restaurants where they put the menu in Spanish. Huevos revueltos. And nobody can make these better than I can. So it's a mixture of 2 colors, right? De amarillo y blanco. Los huevos son blancos y amarillos. Amarillos in the center y blancos on the outside. It's a very complicated dish that takes a lot of practice. This is one of the things, the great skills my mother taught me when I was growing up. I am the middle of 11 children. My twin brother, the other Max, you know, we're both Max, identical twins with the same first name, and everybody was always getting us mixed up. Well, my twin is 7 minutes older than me.